Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day as always. And today I'm going to talk about a few things. First, the mind. Now, what we have been programmed to believe is that pleasant is good and unpleasant is bad. Now, this is part of the aversion and grabbing, wanting. Okay? We don't want pain and we do want pleasure. Okay? Pain is bad, pleasure's good. Okay? And this is a judgment that we make on ourselves. Okay? Because who's feeling the pleasure? Who's feeling the pain? We are. Okay? Now, what this means is that we are programming ourselves, okay, to believe that pleasure's good and pain is bad. Okay? And you can say it another way: comfort is good, uncomfortableness is bad. Anyway, so what does this mean? It means that we are reinforcing the programming that we got from the world. Okay? And I've explained to you how this happens. You're programmed by your parents, you're programmed by really your environment. Okay? And that programming is what runs your life. And we call it the ego. Okay? And as you are thinking about pain and pleasure or comfortableness, uncomfortableness, pleasantness, unpleasantness, okay, you're judging that it's good or bad. Okay? And that judgment is part of reinforcing the self. Okay? The fake identity. All right? And we do this all the time. When we're thinking, okay, we're making these judgments. And it doesn't have to be any great thought or anything. It's just everyday thinking. Okay? All right? And this goes on all the time. We don't even aware of it, but it does happen. It's going on. Okay? And this is what makes it especially hard to detach from the self. Okay? And why it's so important to tame your mind. Now, I know I've told you before that you need to work on stop thinking. Okay? But it's not all thinking that's bad, just the bad thinking. Now, by judging whether or not something is good or bad, okay, we are giving ourselves preferences. Like, I like the good, I don't like the bad. Okay? And so on and so forth. Okay? And that reinforces what we're saying to ourselves. And this voice in the head that is constantly commenting on everything we do and see and feel, okay, is what we call the ego, or, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter what you call it. Okay? It's the programming from when we were kids that is still going on inside our brains because it has momentum. And that momentum just keeps on rolling along. Now, if we can take a look at our minds, which we can, because, okay, let me put it this way. When you see something, okay, like a hand, okay, you're seeing an object, okay, and the seer, which is the eyes, is the subject. And when the sight goes into our brains and minds, then the mind becomes the seer, and the stuff going on in our brains is the object. Okay? But there's another intelligence beyond just the brain or the mind, and that is awareness. And when you can look at the mind from the viewpoint of awareness, okay? Consciousness, which is behind everything. You cannot have a mind, you cannot have sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touches without consciousness, okay? And we can look at what is going on in our mind. What are we saying to ourselves over and over and over, okay? And establishing these preferences and reinforcing the old preferences, okay? And that's why it's so hard to let go of things, because we think things, we judge everything. That's part of being human, okay? And this inner judge, okay, that is within your mind, okay, isn't good for you. Okay, in fact, it's really bad for you because it's judging you. More than anything else, we are judging ourselves, okay? And that is all part of the thought process that's going on inside our minds, okay? And we're judging everything else too, okay? Now, all that means is that there is a system set up in our minds that keeps us in the dream. And that system is the thought system, okay? And the judging is part of that. And if we want to wake up, we have to take the good part of thinking, okay? Which is how we deal with the world, okay, and get rid of the bad part of thinking, which is how we judge ourselves, okay, as not good enough. It's basically the most numerous judge myth that there is, okay. So, and in order to do that, we have to accept what is, okay. This voice that you hear in your head, okay, which we call the ego, okay, doesn't want you to be happy. It doesn't want you to be really anything except its slave. Okay? That's what it wants. And it's going to keep wanting that. It's not going to stop. And unless we can tame the mind, okay, then it's going to keep doing that. And the way we tame the mind is by accepting. Accepting is so powerful. Accepting that the voice in your head isn't you. Accepting that the thoughts that you're having aren't originating with you. We think we're thinking. That's what we think, okay? We all think that. We all think that we are doing the thinking, okay? Which is fine. Think that if you want to, okay? But the fact of the matter is that this thinking is being done on kind of an automatic setting, okay? It just keeps rolling on, okay? And it's not necessarily good, bad, or anything. It's just what is, okay? That's what's happening. And in order to look at the mind, okay, you have to get some awareness into it. Okay, not the awareness of thinking, but the awareness of being. And the way we get to that is by being in the now. Okay? And that can mean meditation, it can mean body energy, sensing, it can mean a lot of things. Okay? There's lots of different practices you can do. But the point is to put all of your attention into one thing. And that one thing could be your breath, could be the energy in your body, it could be a mantra, it could be whatever you want it to be. And we just keep that attention onto the breath. And once we're in the now, once we're in that position, then we can look at things. Not by thinking about them, but by focusing the awareness that we are onto things, like the mind. And what the mind has been doing, what the mind has been saying. And we do this just by willing to do it, okay? We don't think about it. We don't say anything to ourselves. Okay, let's look at the mind. Okay? It's all the will to look at what's going on. And that's pretty much it. And when you're in the now, there is no thinking because there is no anything. Okay? All sensations are not in the now. Sensations are in time. And being in time is not being in the now. There's two states. You can either be in the now, which is timeless, or you can be in time, which includes your personality, the person you think you are, your name, all that stuff. Okay? And only by being in the now, outside of time, okay, can you look at what this idea is doing. That's what it is. It's an idea. The idea of time. The idea of the fact that you're not together with anyone. The fact that you're separated. Okay? The fact that you think you're a solitary human being. Okay? Yes, you're a human being, but you're not solitary. Because everything is connected to you. You just don't know it. You can't feel it because the thoughts are taking up all the awareness. And in order to stop that from happening, to clear away the clouds from the sky so you can see the sun, okay, we need to get into the now. We need to stop the thinking. Or just stop the part of the thinking that is hurting us, okay? You can pick and choose what thoughts you're going to pay attention to, okay? It just takes a little bit of awareness. But by looking at what the mind is doing or trying to do, we can see that it's not us. It's not you. It's automatically running its course, okay? Just like your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and everything else, okay? It's on automatic. And we need to arrest the automaticness of it by stopping identifying with everything, okay? You are not your house. You are not your car. You are not the thoughts that you think. You think you are. You think, what I think, that's what I am. I think, therefore I am. Okay? That's the way people think, okay? I'm not talking about what is here. I'm talking about what people think, okay? You are not your thoughts, and you are not your body. This body, okay, as good as it is to be a body, okay, is gonna fade, okay? But I, the soul or consciousness, now the reason I use the word soul is because it's handy. Everyone knows what soul means, okay? But it doesn't have to be soul. It can be awareness. You are awareness. That is who and what you are. If you believe that you're anything else, then you're going to suffer. That is the way life is. So this choosing based on what we think is good and bad, okay, which we're doing all the time, okay, based on what is pleasant and unpleasant, based on what is comfortable and uncomfortable, okay, and it's going on all the time in your brain, and it's causing you, okay, to feel the way you feel, which is the wanting, okay? The wanting is part of the good and the bad. It's part of the aversion, okay? You don't want one thing and you want something else. And the pull that pulls you towards what you want, or the aversion that pushes you away from it. These things are going on in your mind. And as you get on the spiritual path and start to feel the difference between that and not wanting. When you're in the now, you do not want anything. Okay? The wanting happens in time. As long as you are in time, that wanting has control of you. It has you in its grip, the grip of desire. Okay? That's what it is. And so by having this brain, okay, which is programmed to want, okay, you wind up suffering. That's what happens, okay? And that's not something you want to have happen. It's just the way it is. So trying to get to a point of not wanting, like for instance, have you ever smoked a cigarette, okay? Have you ever been addicted to cigarettes, okay? Now, when you're addicted to cigarettes, all right, you've got a pack of smokes, okay? And you smoke the last cigarette and you put it out, okay? And then some time goes by before the wanting mind says, I want another cigarette, okay? And this wanting that is going on all the time inside your mind, okay, is kind of unconscious. We don't even know we're doing it. We don't realize that the reason we picked up the pack of cigarettes is because we want something, okay? And this wanting causes suffering. And that's part of the reason why we are all on the wheel of karma. Because suffering is what you have to do, okay? Because there's no choice. You're going to suffer, okay? And karma is what you have to do, okay? And so if you're on the wheel of karma, which you are, okay, you are going to suffer. But by censoring yourself, okay, by not wanting, I know it's hard to censor yourself. It's very difficult to not want something that you want, okay? But by doing the practices, by getting into the now, the want goes away. Are you addicted to cigarettes? Do you want a cigarette, another cigarette? Not if you're in the now. And you can go into the now like that, okay? And stay in as long as you want, all right? By breathing, by paying attention to the energy that's flowing through you, by saying the mantra, Om, 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 and there's no more wanting. And you can do that for as long as you want. And when you come out of it, you're going to feel good. And you're not going to want anything at that point in time. Then you're back in time again. So now, the wanting starts again. And pretty soon you're going to pick up that pack and take a cigarette and smoke it. That's how it works, okay? And this wanting mind is causing suffering. What do cigarettes do? Well, they kill you. That's what they do. And that causes suffering too. Okay? And the thing that we should want to do, okay, not that we should do it, is not cause suffering. I try not to cause suffering as much as I can. I don't know all the consequences. I still drive a car that has gas in it. That's causing suffering somewhere, okay? And I am still buying groceries and so on and so forth. I still have to live in this world, which causes more suffering. But I try not to do anything that does cause suffering, okay? Like getting killed so my loved ones feel bad, or dying of cancer, okay? Or whatever it is. These are all good reasons not to do things that are bad for you, okay? But the wanting brain is in control. The wanting mind is in control. You are not in control. Because if you were, you wouldn't want. Now, these wants or desires are very tricky. And it's very hard to try and figure out exactly what it is that you're trying to do, okay? Because it's all very, complex, okay? And start with just looking at what is going on in your mind. You are the awareness. The awareness has purview of everything, okay? That includes your mind, okay? And when you feel the pull of wanting come, and that's what it is, and that causes you to move your hand over to whatever you want and pick it up and put it in your mouth, okay, or whatever it is. And this wanting is so below the surface, okay, that we're not even aware of it most of the time, okay? We want comfort, don't we? We sit on cushions and we have soft beds. That's all in pursuit of comfort, okay? And so comfort is good and uncomfortableness is bad. And that's a judgment that we make on ourselves, okay? All this stuff is very, very difficult to understand, I know. But try to just put some awareness by being in the now into the workings of your own mind, okay? Don't think about your mind. Just try to look like the seer sees, okay? There's no thinking in seeing. There's no thinking in smelling. There's no thinking in tasting. There's no thinking in feeling. The thinking happens in the mind, okay? So, as the seer sees, as this stuff comes in to you, okay, look at it. These thoughts, like I said before, are like clouds in the sky, obscuring the sun, okay? And, the sun is God. The reason you can't feel God, the reason you can't feel His love, is because of all these clouds, okay? Which are thoughts. And if you look at the thought, if you just look at the thought that's happening, as it happens, before it actually takes hold, look at it and put a little bit of awareness into it, okay? And see what it is the thought is saying. And it's not going to be good for you, okay? It's going to say, I want this. I don't want that. It's a tug of war going on inside all of us between wanting things and pushing away things. And this tug of war informs our programming and reinforces our programming, okay? Which makes it more difficult to let go because this constant reinforcement that is going on inside your mind is trying to keep you in the dream. That's what it's doing, okay? You may not want to be in the dream, okay? You may not want, that, but you have no choice because that is the way it is. Until you can start to awaken, until you can just see the wanting that is happening, okay? And feel what it's doing to you. Anyway, that's what's going on, okay? And once we can see the wanting for what it is, a thought, it's a bloody thought, okay? That's it. We think it gets blown out of proportion, okay? We think it's big. We think it's this big thing. I want this. I must have this. It's a thought, okay? And unless we try and see the thought for what it is, then we cannot move on from it, okay? And there's lots of ways that you can go into the now and see what's going on. Okay? When you're meditating, a thought will come. Okay? It happens all the time, right? Look at the thought. Peer into its complexities and try to find out what is at the bottom of it, what it's meant to do, what it's meant to accomplish. What does that thought want to do to you? It wants to make you do something. It wants to make you feel something. Okay? That's what it wants. And all these strings that are your thoughts, okay, are getting pulled by the puppet master. Okay? The ego. And as long as he's got those strings, which he does because you're not aware of wanting, okay? You just want to be comfortable. Okay? And that's fine. Okay? Be comfortable. But you're also not in control. Okay? You think you're in control, but you're not. Okay? These wants, whether comfortable or uncomfortable, pleasant or unpleasant, are controlling what you do with your life. Okay? And I've said this a lot, and maybe I haven't made it plain how this happens. So I'll try to do that now. Okay. Let's say you're 25 years old, okay? And you haven't had a lot of success. You've had some failures, okay? And you want success. So you're going to go after success. That's what you want, okay? And in order to help you do that, okay, the ego says things to you. The inner monologue of your own mind that help you to do that, okay? But if you fail, then the ego says things to you to make you feel bad. And it makes you feel bad, and that bad feeling makes you do something. It causes something to happen, either within you or without you. Okay? Maybe you go home and throw yourself on the bed. Maybe you decide that you have to do something else. Whatever it is, it's pushing you in a direction. Okay? With these nudges. It nudges here, it nudges there. These thoughts are just clouds to be burnt away by the sun of awareness. Okay? And when you are caught in the wanting of things to be pleasant and the fearing that things will be unpleasant, okay? Which you are, then you're going to feel bad. Okay? You're going to suffer. And what this means is your life isn't going to be good. And you will make that judgment on your life yourself. No one else has to make that judgment. You do it yourself. And so that is what it is. And I mean, I know it's hard to try and understand how to curb the wanting, okay, that you don't even know you're doing. And the way to do that is to perceive the wanting. Try to slow down and perceive what is going on. Okay? And once you can perceive the wanting, then you can realize it's just a thought. It's not everything. Okay? And as you do that, the thought will start to fade. And the want will go with it. The want cannot control us. It tries to control us. But it cannot do that because we have awareness. We are awareness and we have it. And we can use that awareness to defeat the ego, okay, by just perceiving what your thoughts are doing, okay? I know it's hard to try and realize that it's not your thoughts. Yeah, that's hard, okay? Throughout our lives, we're taught that we're the ones making the thoughts. We're taught that we're the ones doing the thinking, okay? And we think that's what it is. And so this idea that we're not the ones doing the thinking, that there's a fake identity within us, is hard. It's very hard to get. But once you look at your thoughts, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're saying to you. Okay? Then you can see, oh, this isn't good for me. This is bad. And then you'll realize it doesn't have to be that way. You'll realize that you can change it. You realize that this wanting is not good for you and you can just stop it. Okay? And some people say, well, I can't stop wanting. That's because you're under the control of the wanting. As long as you're under the control of the wanting, then you can't stop it. It's going to continue wanting. Okay? But once you can perceive the wanting and see what is its aim, what does it want? And it wants to control you. Okay? So, try not to judge wants like wanting pleasantness and not wanting or fearing unpleasantness. Try not to let those control or judge you and make you do the things you don't want to do. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult to see that, but it's not impossible. Well, the time on the wall is telling me it's time to go. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I hope what I've said has been helpful. If you have any questions about what I've said, please let me know in the comments, and I will respond in the comments, and I will make a video about your question. Okay? And also, if you could share, okay? To help spread what I'm trying to give out. Okay? Which is the salvation of your life. And everyone's life. Okay. I love you all because you're me. We are all one thing. And that thing is God. Have a great day.